Welcome to The Wide Angle. I'm Brendan Fallon. Tonight we'll be looking at the 6 violent means of unrestricted warfare we believe the radical left is using to force President Trump out of office. Here's a snapshot of some recent developments related to this that we'll be looking at. We'll start with exploring the suspected use of economic violence. On November 24th, the day after the U.S. General Services Administration notified Biden that the transfer of government could begin, the 3 major U.S. indices surged, with the Dow Jones Index surpassing 30,000 points, a record high. At the same time, Antifa threatened to launch armed street action if Trump did not concede defeat. Are these and other recent twists in the U.S. presidential election saga unrelated? Or are they signs of a larger agenda aimed at forcing Trump out of office? Also, how do the actions of the radical left in the United States reflect the nature of its violent revolution communist origins? Let's dive in. The legal battle for the US election continues, and seemingly more optimistically for the Biden camp than the Trump one. In Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Nevada, the results have been certified in favor of Biden, whereas in North Carolina, results have been certified in favor of Trump. Georgia also began its second recount on November 24th, but authorities there are still unwilling to verify signatures on mail-in ballots, which could render this second-round recount virtually pointless. In terms of the outcome 2020 legal battle, the Trump camp has filed a dozen election lawsuits across the 4 states of Pennsylvania, Michigan, Georgia, and Nevada, some of which have been rejected, and then subsequently appealed by Trump's team. Meanwhile, the highly anticipated epic lawsuit that attorney Sidney Powell has indicated she will be filing is expected to be delivered later this week. President Trump on November 24th reaffirmed his commitment to the battle for the election by retweeting his earlier quote, "I concede nothing," tweet. However, as December 14th will be the Electoral College voting day, and state election lawsuits must be completed 6 days before the vote by December 8th, time is fast running out for further legal action. So what major counterattacks or epic lawsuits will the Trump camp initiate during this period? But before we go further into that, let's first take a moment to look at the all too familiar communist ideology that's thought to underpin much of the alarming developments we've seen in the course of this election. It's well known that violence has long been a critical tool in the Communist Party's arsenal of domination. We only need to look as far as what's happened historically in China, Cuba, and North Korea to see evidence of this. At the end of the Communist Manifesto, it is stated that, quote, "The communists disdain to conceal their views and aims. They openly declare that their ends can only be attained by the forcible overthrow of all existing social conditions. Let the ruling classes tremble at a communist revolution. The proletarians have nothing to lose but their chains. They have a world to win." Therefore, both the Soviet Communist Party and the Chinese Communist Party, currently dominating China, started out as violent struggles. However, the communist tragedies in the Soviet Union prompted Western liberal societies to become quite skeptical and wary of the Communist Party. The party thus rebranded itself as socialism and took away the slogan of violent revolution. Under this revised banner, a long period of subversion by infiltration, rather than violent revolution, is instead used to achieve the goal of communization. To put it simply, communism is violent radicalization, and socialism is slow progress, then radicalization. However, although we have yet to see a radical violent revolution in the course of this US election, we have seen all kinds of alternative violence being used, which is tantamount to a de facto violent revolution or violent coup by the radical leftist camp. Firstly,